efficiencies, and efficiencies is an ability to analyze vast amount of disparate information and figure out correlations that are there or may emerge. So ability to write a hypothesis and test the hypothesis becomes critical in terms of a skill set. The third one is when you write a hypothesis and test the hypothesis, you need and you have information that is available, data that is available, that has given you insights to take decisions. We have heard about decision support systems, DSS, in the delivery organizations. More and more now we are seeing it come together in human resources and taking decisions in the people development and people engagement contexts. Like everybody else, I thought when we talk about AI, machine learning, chatbots, Windows, Cortana, Alexa, you have to have the Gartner hype cycle put up there. Three things that you will observe. One, there is a lot of it that's happening today where the technologies are coming into convergence. The second thing is you see a lot of steep S-curves that are happening, and the steep S-curves translate into a lot of things changing. And the last one is still going in at the bottom is quantum computing. Unknown, we do not know what it is, but there's an opportunity to reimagine the way we live. I'm a big Star Trek fan and grew up listening to Spock and everybody, Mr. Spock, talking about what is to be done. Beam me up, Scotty, is reality. Not many of you will look like people who have grown up on Star Trek. If you are there, you will be on this side of this. But that's reality. And the way we have seen things evolve has actually made the work that people do very different. So from what can technology do or AI and machine learning do, the question has shifted to who can AI and machine learning help. So you really do not know, is Flipkart, Walmart today a retail brand or is it a technology company? Right? You do not know whether a life sciences company, why would they invest billions of dollars on technology when they should be focusing on product development and other things? The industry lines are blurring. The joke around is that every company is now going to become a communications company. Why would Google suddenly look at investing in content? Everything is coming over the top for us. An oil company closer home is now going to connect you to your internet, your TV, and perhaps someday will also content moderate what you're watching and what you're talking. On that note, when you look at it, this is the post-digital era, the way we have seen it in Accenture. We call it as the 5 pillars that are there, the trends that we broadly look at. It's called, the first one is the dark power. Now, it's not a spelling mistake. What is dark? It is distributed accounting ledgers, AI, extended reality, and quantum computing. The second one is get to know me. It's a transparent world, and privacy, the way we have been growing up, talking about it and debating about it, is also being challenged, and people are opening up. What you saw in Sri's presentation about people saying, these are my credentials, love me, like me, hate me, I don't care, but this is who I am. And if you have work, I will do for you. The workplace has changed, and it has changed, I am saying, because all of us, in some sense, are working with machines as our co-worker in some smart sense. The fourth one is secure us to secure me, which is about security and redefining our privacy about that. And this is not just about security at an individual level, also at an enterprise level. Data becomes, all of us know about it. data is the new oil means then it is commodity, precious, that is therefore to be retained. The fifth one is my markets. We had a brief while where one size fits all industrialization era to coming down to personalization, which meant that what do you want and what suits you better. All the pop-ups that we would see on Facebook and when you go on to Amazon and other things. But today it is individualization. Individualization means you can turn off the tap when you do not want personalization and still do retain your privacy or decision-making capacity around that. Okay, we are channeled for internet connection and therefore we are not going to see the videos. You'll have to tolerate my voice for some time. But I thought that video will, and you can actually Google on or YouTube this video on dark and understand a little more about what we speak about it and how it's actually coming into this place. As I said, the world is changing and we are talking about AI for what to AI for who, and AI chatbots at the workplace are making life much more different. It's making life different. We heard about the gig economy, gig 2.0, and then there'll be multiple versions. X.0 will also come into it, but at the end of the day, you and I are human beings talking to people with an emotional quotient that is greater than what technology quotient can deliver. On that, when we look at it, it's a very simple 2x2 metric that matrix that you will draw. Any job, anything like what Sri spoke earlier, where you break it into micro tasks, micro learning and everything, you're doing it is rife for automation. While that is the first level of it, when you look at the gig economy, is to ability to break tasks and make sure that the tasks are delivered. The AI that is, or the revolution that's happening in the data space, is quickly assimilating all that learning and teaching a machine to work for you and deliver that task. So what do human beings have to do? They have to be on a continuous learning path. And that learning path is all about, I would say, there are three parts to any organization or anybody's, including you as an individual. There is, as a recipient of a service, you are looking for an experience. The Airbnb the example or the Uber, Ola, you want an experience. And for that experience, two things count. One is efficiency in the service delivery and the effectiveness in the service delivery. So when you talk about knowledge and intensity, talent, knowledge, intensity play, your efficiency is going to be greatly driven by the machines. And the effectiveness is about what you and I as individuals are going to deliver. And that's the continuous learning that one has to look at. The past paradigms that we have grown up, at least I have grown up, learning and growing up, was about you take things, you learn, you specialize, and then you become a deep expert. You retire someday, hang your boots and tell your grandchildren the story. The way it has changed is you learn something, you have deeper specialization, but how is your ability to apply it to another broad context? It's the era of interdisciplinary specialization that's coming in. Otherwise, why would people who are Puritans in terms of human resource sciences and social sciences be keen about understanding evolution, physics, mathematics, and modeling around that and see what is happening around? This changes the complete narrative in terms of what's happening in the workplace. The workplace that was built for profit continues to be built for profit, but has purpose being prefixed before profit. There was always predictability and efficiency. Now that is given, you now want innovation, value. That's what is happening around. Nobody is talking about whether you have a complete supply chain solution to identify the number of auto rickshaws that need to stand outside this hotel complex, but the availability of it. From siloed and coordinated teams, you are looking for integrated cross-functional teams, and this is an experiment that many years back, 15 years back, when Six Sigma was in its biggest boom, everybody used to talk about cross-functional teams. But the cross-functional teams were about process optimization, not about reimagining the process. So today when you talk about cross-functional teams, it is about cross-industry knowledge, cross-subject knowledge that you have to bring in to reimagine the way work is done. The third one is large global delivery teams to smaller agile groups. I'm not going to elaborate any further. You heard full 25 minutes on that. Structured linear process to more faster and iterative. Progress greater than perfection is that kind of mantra that everybody talks today. Keep moving, you will learn, you will need to change, because nothing is cast in stone. You will have a better solution as long as you are focused on the problem, and the problem is that you're anchored to is the right problem. As much as you have integrated cross-functional teams, collaborative decision making becomes a key to the way in which organizations can leverage all that we talk about AI, chatbots and machines at the workplace. This is reality. Automation is reality. It is not something that's going to happen but in the future, but it has already happened. Day before yesterday, day after tomorrow, it is a different day that you're going to talk about automation. The speed at which things are happening, the way in which things are happening, throws up a lot of new skills that are required to survive in the world that we are focusing on or walking into today. One, it starts with intellectual curiosity, and no particular order of hierarchy that I would put it. But look at it, all these were things that we never spoke about as we grew talking about management lessons. Intellectual curiosity, personal communication, storytelling, design thinking, ability, emotional intelligence, data analytics, and as people in the people business, there are three things that I look at which are important for us. One, digital savviness. That is the way in which you will definitely be redefining, rephrasing the problem statements as you walk around. The second is data fluency. I did English literature and then social sciences, but where does mathematics come into? Mathematics is not equivalent to data. You can either read 2 plus 2 as 4, or two events happening together can give you a quadruple of an opportunity. So that's something that one has to look at. The second one is data fluency. And the third one is really, in terms of it, is coaching. And coaching is not about, and pardon me for saying this here, that it's not about having an ICF certification or a PCC certified coach or anything. Those are credentials to say that you are not a fly-by-night, but coaching as a skill set, which requires us to talk to people with an open mind, listen to people with an open mind, and not be judgmental or bias our judgment. End of the day, what we have seen till now is all the data that we have, all the learning that you have fed into the machines with an AI-based chatbot or anything is built on my knowledge or the collective wisdom of the people who are trading the system. So if you say 8 a.m. is evening, and all of us collectively say 8 a.m. is evening, the machine will mean 8 a.m. is evening. They call themselves as the business roundtable, where they have signed off a pact saying that they will focus on purpose prior to profit. Right? When we all started 101 in business schools was about business ethics, was that profit that is ethical in nature. Today we are hearing it saying purpose greater than profit, and that is purposeful profit is something that everyone is looking at. And you will see that there is a lot of it that's being driven by the market forces, which is about transparency and intimacy skills that people want to hear about. In the era of digital and the post-digital era, where you have a lot of things that are being done by the machines, or the ability of the machines is superior to the human mind in doing that task, you need to continue to put people at the center of it. And therefore it is a no-brainer to start to hear about it saying people come first. And people come first even before your customers, because the customer is somebody who is also a person looking for experience. This is a classic example. Once I had walked into a Levi's showroom, and there was one person, a sales boy was there. I asked him, I need 511s. He said, sir, what 511? I said, 511 is the brand and that's the model I'd like to wear. He was black. It took me about 30 seconds. First was irritation, saying, how do you were standing here and you don't even know where 511s are kept. Later on I realized that this boy does not even know he is wearing a jeans because he has to wear a trouser to work. I look at it as a statement of my personality. He looks at it as a need of his job to be there. And that's the divide one will have in the world of AI, chatbot, machines experiences. How do you give people an experience that is best suited for them? Unless you go through that experience, you are not going to be able to relate to what is it that's happening. How many times have you gone into Starbucks and then he will read out the Starbucks barista will read out everything. You ask him, what is it that 1 second sir, I use the card. Just look at it, it has got all these things ingredients. This is a world that is evolving, this is a marketplace that is catching up, and opportunities are there. People are eager to do that. Use technology to support that growth rather than to manipulate anything else. That throws into the whole topic about reskilling. We talk about it, we practice it, but then how do you follow through with reskilling? Is also to redesign the way in which work processes happen. So all organizations are going through this. Some of us are more articulate, some of us are less articulate about it. If you have to reflect back within your own organization, the kind of disruptions that are happening. Maybe tomorrow Coursera can become a university by itself and none of us need to go and join colleges. They are talking about it. They are tying up with the government in many countries, including in India, to talk about reskilling people. Right? And then what happens to colleges? The cafeterias and all that, the time that we spend for chai and cigarettes will be gone. You will be sitting at home and under parental guidance you will be having to study. The second thing is that is an opportunity to unlock immense potential. Like I heard about that program in Kerala that EY is running. That's a fantastic opportunity because you do not know where talent lies. While we've been talking about it for generations together, saying war for talent, and look for talent at the bottom of the pyramid and all those things, you really do not know how vast, how large and where is it. And that's the kind of an opportunity machines and machine learning and AI can actually help us enhance the potential of this organization as a country, organization as humanity at large. Last one is the talent pipeline, strengthening it from its source. I don't think I need to talk any further from what the previous Srikanth had spoken. But that is where everybody is talking about. We all have heard about Catch Them Young program, do this early, focus on this. It's not about Catch Them Young. people have diverse interests at different points in time, but how do you actually tap them and train them or help them navigate their interests? That is the biggest opportunity I would see that exists today for us when we talk about all these. Internally in Accenture, about 4 years, until 4 years back, we used to have our leadership principles and guidelines, which used to be very simple. You were measured on 3 things: value creation on the job for the firm, business operator ability to drive metrics, all those things that you had to do, the transactional capabilities, and last but not the least, because we were in the business of talent, people developer. 4 years back, when we changed our performance achievement, our management from a backward-looking to a more forward-looking activity, from talking about performance management to performance achievement, we also had to change the way in which our leadership DNA had to change. So there are 3 things that we thought was required in the new world: innovation and truly human ability. These 2 become critical because innovation is disruption, and disruption means newer markets translate to active differentiation in terms of your competitive space. Doing it under a truly human way, in a truly human personalized way, means that you take care of people who are contributing to your innovation and who are creating the market makers, the kind of people that they are. Execution was always the core strength of any organization, but that is not about execution through process and then to throw the rule book, but execute with agility. And in the new world, advocacy becomes reality. Advocacy is not just about saying no to people, but it's about ability to influence and inspire people with your thoughts and your ideas that are there. These are things that we say are in the new world what we would like to have as leadership traits. So last but not the least, while I not talk about what AI can do to you, it's less about what AI can do to you, but how can you actually manipulate AI machine learning to do what you want to do. You can't stop machine learning, Watsons and Alexas coming into all your phones, Apple phones and Google phones, listening to whatever your conversations are, but how can you use it better? I'll give you a small example about how we did this in Accenture. A couple of years back, about 3.5, 4 years back, we started working on a chatbot. Very simple. Want to have something interesting to be done. That's all I had given to my team and the CIO organization, saying we need to have one place, a chatbot that will answer all your FAQs on policies, process and everything. But I took the CIO aside, I told her, this is not the end state game that we will look at. Look at the kind of questions people ask, the frequency at which people will ask. Give me analytics on that and we will rewrite our policies. We will rewrite our processes and change that. Then we started asking feedback on, chatbot will ask you feedback on questions that are specific to you at an individualized level on a particular topic that may be contemporary in the organization. With that, we also started seeing the kind of questions and the correlations that we were getting was vast. We have gone back and looked at what therefore should have been our promotion policies to what should be our skill mix in certain projects. People talk about it in different forms in different cases. And these are all what we have asked questions back to people and not going or including into privacy. So it gives me a complete view on what is an employee thinking today to where is that employee's mind going to be in 3 months' time. I'm not going to be bothered beyond 3 months because that's the window I have to help change or influence any decisions that we have. If somebody is going constantly and looking at the internal job postings and looking for jobs in a different skill set, I have data that says that this person is trained on these skills, is done work on certain other skills. work for 48 months in the same project, move this person to the next one. Career experience is not what people do. All of them can articulate, but we can also make that happen. These are some of the ways in which we have manipulated, and the manipulation here is not a negative word, but it's more of an active word that I'm using, saying that how do we use this to change decisions. There are data is everywhere today in any organization. Right from the time you board the bus to reach your workplace to the time you reach home, it is there. And that data point tell me as to what is it that I can do. A simple thing, Bangalore traffic, famous for it, low innovation, low technology. We looked at the time people spend basis the time the first pickup happens to the time they reach office. On an average day, people will spend about 2 hours reaching office one way. Why? Because they will be traveling from Mysore Road to Whitefield or Whitefield to some other place. There's a lot of money that is being spent on transporting people, bad behavior, because 2 hours one way, 2 hours, 4 hours to their day, and you work for 8-9 hours. Where's your personal life? We just said, okay, Hosur Road is the bottleneck. Left side of the Hosur Road is Bangalore City 1, right hand side of Hosur Road is Bangalore City 2. Anything 6 months time for people to transfer from one location to another location so that you can be closer to the city or the identity of the offices where you are going to be. And if you are doing that relocation, pay you as an intercity transfer allowance. Simple thing, you will get staffed in those projects that are happening around in third part of the city. Our time spent, including while Bangalore traffic continues to be at its full best, this dropped on 45 minutes. That was the target that we started with, and the number of people just crossing the city has come. So this is a similar experiment we did in Pune, similar experiment that we will be doing in other places like Gurgaon, to cut short the time and go. This is just data analysis and then some amount of information that has been looked at very in a quick manner to take these decisions and implement it. Right? On that note, I